All right, so let's talk about the different types of solutions that you'll see. Don't forget, a solution is actually a homogeneous mixture, meaning that they're actually the things within a solution are not bonded together. They're just they're attracted to each other in a way that it makes it the same throughout. Different types of words that you'll see that when you're dealing with solutions are words like solute and solvent. A solute is actually dissolved within the solvent. So whatever is being dissolved is a solute. What it's being dissolved in is a solvent. The universal solvent that you'll come across is water. That makes sense, and most things are dissolved in water, but there are other types of solutions that you'll see too. One being gas dissolved in gas. And think about the air we breathe. It's a mixture of gases. Gas dissolved in liquid, and soda is a great example of that. The carbon dioxide bubbles, they're actually gaseous or dissolved in the liquid of the soda. Then we have the liquid dissolved in liquid. Juice is a good example of that, some fresh squeezed juice or something along those lines. You can have solid dissolved in liquid, which is like our sugar. Our sugar is going to be our solid form dissolved in our liquid tea. That would be you'll actually see this actually quite often, solid dissolving in liquid. Solid dissolving in solid. Steel or any type of metal alloy actually is a mixture of solids. Gas dissolved in solid would be like foams or marshmallows. So these are different types of mixtures that you'll see in different mediums that they're actually in. And there are different words that we actually might come across too. Soluble versus insoluble. And when you're dealing with double replacement reactions, you'll have a precipitate. Precipitates are insoluble, meaning they come out of solution. If something is soluble, it means that it's actually dissolved within the solution. It doesn't come out. It's still within the solution. You might see the words miscible versus immiscible. This miscible, you can kind of sounds like mixable. That's exactly what it means. If something's miscible, they can mix together. If they're immiscible, like oil and water, they're actually not able to mix together. So these four words you might see quite often, and when you're dealing with types of solutions.